our etiquette expert joining us now, a season where we all need to be on top of etiquette.
There's a lot of tips that I feel we should all hear, right? There's a lot of circumstances. So where should we start? What's the golden rule?
Well, what about tips? Who do you tip and how much do you tip?
This is the time of the year, Lynn, when people take a look at who they all have to tip and they go, oh my goodness, where do I start? It's a huge point where people go, I don't know, do I tip this person and do I tip this person and how much do I tip is always the question. Basic rule of thumb is the service providers who you have, you're going to tip them the equivalent of one session. So for example, your personal trainer will get the equivalent to whatever your personal training session is. Your nanny is anywhere from 1 week to 1 month, depending on your level of generosity and how the bank statement's looking. And then also you're going to want to take care of, your hairstylist. Us as women, that's very important to us. Again, the amount of one session. Also, you're going to divide it between the individuals, such as the person who washes your hair and each of those people that take care of you.
Yeah, it's a long
Very
list to get
expensive.
through.
It's very expensive this time of the year. I get told that.
Well, that's good. A lot of people ask that, so that's some good guidelines there. Christmas parties, let's touch on this.
Yes.
What do you bring? What's appropriate? How do you sort of repay the favor of the host having you over?
Sure. One of the things you're always going to want to bring a hostess gift whenever you go anywhere. People have a tendency to bring a bottle of wine or maybe some nice baked goods. You need to remember that if you're bringing a bottle of wine for the host, that's not the bottle of wine that you're going to drink that evening. So make sure that you bring two. Something that they don't have to worry about. So for example, if you bring fresh flowers, make sure they're cut, they're put into a vase so that the host doesn't have to worry about popping them into a vase and getting water, etc. in there. So something that they can, deal with rather quickly.
What about gifts? It's always sort of a tough time to figure out, who you give gifts to. If it's not, obviously, you have a service provider, you're tipping, sure. but where do you draw the line at gifts?
Yeah. One of the things that you should do is really focus on who has been an important part of your life for that year, not only your service providers, but the people within your family as well. If it's that long-lost friend that you haven't seen in a while, you haven't been exchanging gifts, then obviously you're not going to send one to that person or do a gift exchange. Make sure you also know, talk to your friends. Did you want to do a gift exchange this year? Did you want to go and have lunch, go for high tea, and enjoy each other's company? We all have a tendency to forget that Christmas always is about the thought, and that's what counts.
Christmas parties, a lot of companies have already had theirs, but some are still to come. I think I know the answer to this one, but the golden rule heading into a Christmas party, what you should be aware of and possibly avoid.
Sure. I think that a lot of people think that they can let loose at the company Christmas party. Sure, you can. But obviously watch what you're doing. This is still a work function. Your superiors are there. They're going to be watching you. I've heard horror stories of people coming back into the office the next day, and years afterwards, they're still hearing about, remember what this person did.
We've lived horror stories.
I can only imagine. I've heard some good ones before. So always be very, very mindful and understand that you still are there in your work environment.
Heading into the new year, after you've, tipped your hairstylist and that sort of thing, do you automatically increase the amount you're tipping sort of for the next year? Do you know what I mean? Or is there any etiquette around that? Does anything change in January, or you just go back to what it was before?
You go back, and that's the thing. The holidays are for giving your gifts of thanks and your gratitude for, whether it be the friendship, your family, the love of that, those service providers. If you choose to do that gratuity, you don't have to do a gratuity. That's the other thing. It can be in the form of a gift. If things are a little bit tight this year, homemade gifts, some of your baking is wonderful as well. But always remember, it is that thought. Afterwards, we go back to our basics. So if you are a 15 to 20% tipper to your stylist, then that's what you're going to do in the new year again.
And what about substituting then the tip for your stylist, because that's the one we keep coming back to,
Yes.
like with a bottle of wine or something like that?
Absolutely. Here's the key thing. What you want to do is you want to get to know the individuals that you're giving these gifts to. So, for example, today I happen to have a bottle of wine for Lynn and a bottle of wine for Jay,
very
because
nice.
I do believe in the last segment, the Thanksgiving segment, we spoke about how these two love wine. So that's for you. And also, Lynn, I know that you have dogs and you're a big dog lover.
Sweet.
So Uptown Dog has put this beautiful gift bag together for your doggie this year. So it's about knowing what people like.
Okay, so now here's the
enjoy.
awkward part. We have nothing for you, right?
Okay.
So what do you do then?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Again, it's about the thought that counts, and it's about us wanting to do nice things and saying appreciation, know is there. So
We
We owe
will
you a
not be
lunch.
regifting these.
no regifting.
Well,
regifting
so much,
either.
Carey.
We'll owe
My
you lunch.
pleasure.
How about that?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Thanks a lot,
Thank
Carey.
you. Happy holidays.
Happy
Thank you,
holidays
Carey.
to you.